Okay, so we have already concluded the discussion on the Uddesa section of the Satipatthana Sutta. Okay, so Uddesa means summary, okay, or the synopsis. Okay, so in the Uddesa section, the Buddha gave us synopsis of what he is about to talk about in that discourse. Okay? So he said that he is going to talk about the four Satipatthana, right? So which is the only way for the purification of the mind of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of the arrival at the noble path, and for the realization of Nibbana. Okay? So, and this four Satipatthana means to, as he described, it means to contemplate, it means to note continuously, precisely, the body, feeling, consciousness, and the Dhammas, natural phenomena. We contemplate them. Each time we contemplate them, contemplate with ardent, energetic effort, with mindfulness and clear comprehension. And while we are contemplating in this way, every moment when you are contemplating in this way, noting in this way, you overcome this covetousness and grief towards the object that is being noted in that moment. Yeah, so the Buddha gave us a brief synopsis about the practice of the Satipatthana in the Uddesa section. Okay? So this we have already covered. We have spent considerable period of time explaining in detail the meaning, especially of the basic instruction, Satipatthana. But not only that, also what does it mean? Does the benefits, the goal, the practice of Satipatthana, purification of beings, overcoming sorrow and lamentation, and so on. Okay? Because it's important to understand this. Okay? So not only the basic method, not only important to understand the basic method clearly, but also the purpose. Otherwise you mistake the purpose. Many people think, oh, overcoming dukkha means overcoming my stress, my psychological hang-ups and all that. Yes, that is part of it, but that's not the whole of it. Right? So it's more than just that. It's the complete liberation from suffering in samsara. Okay? Yeah, so it's important to understand this clearly. Yeah. So today we'll begin to discuss about the Niddesa section of the sutta. Niddesa means the detailed exposition. So often when the Buddha teach, he begin the sutta with the Uddesa, with a synopsis, where he will lay out an outline of what he's about to talk about before going into the Niddesa, the detailed exposition of what has been briefly outlined in the Uddesa. So in the Satipatthana Sutta, in the Uddesa section, Buddha mentioned about the four Satipatthana exercises in brief, the basic instruction. Contemplate body in the body, feeling in feeling, consciousness in consciousness, Dhamma in Dhammas, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, overcoming covetousness and grief in regards to the world. So this is the brief instruction, a brief summary of what the practice of Satipatthana is all about. So having given this brief summary, then in order to begin to go into detail of how this brief instruction can be applied to the various meditation objects. So the Buddha begin the detailed exposition, the Nidesa section of the sutta. So first he pick up the Kaya Nupasana, contemplation of the body, and he showed how the contemplation of the body, contemplating body in the body, ardent, clearly comprehending, and so on, how this instruction can be applied in 14 different ways, into 14 different kamatana, subject of meditation relating to the body. So begin with anapana, mindfulness of the in and out breath, the iriyapada, noting or contemplation on the postures of the body, and then sampajanya, clear comprehension as one carries out various daily physical activities. Then patikula manasikara, paying attention to the lovesome nature of the various parts of the body, head, hair, body, hair, and so on. Then dhatu manasikara, paying attention to the 4 elements occurring within the body. And then navasivatika, that means the 9th cemetery contemplation. That means contemplation on different kinds of corpses, corpses in various stages of decay. So, yeah. So after Kayanupasana, so 14 subjects of Kamatana, meditation. So after that, Buddha went on to Vedana-nupasana. Vedana is actually only one object, but the Buddha analyzed it in the Vedana-nupasana section, analyzed it into 9 types of feeling. So the sukha, dukkha, adukkha, masukha, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, or you can say happy feeling, painful feeling. Then adukkha, masukha means neither painful nor happy. It means neutral. Okay? So there are 3 here, and then to each of these 3, the Buddha analyzed and further into worldly feeling or spiritual feeling. So there's worldly happy feeling and spiritual happy feeling, for example. So worldly feeling means feeling that arise from experiencing sensual objects, sensual pleasures. Okay? So all the joy, all the frustration, all the downness from experiencing worldly objects. Okay? Then spiritual feelings are the feelings that arise from spiritual experiences, of samadhi, of jnana, and so on. Okay? And even due to frustration, that arise from meditation. Huh? So, yeah, it's connected with the spiritual practice. Then after Vedananupassana, the Buddha went on to describe Chittanupassana. So Chitta is again only one object. Okay, but again the Buddha analyzed it further in terms of 16 different ways whereby the Chitta consciousness can arise. So Chitta with Raga, Saraga and Chitta. With so Raga means lust, attachment, desire, things like that. Okay? Then Vitaraga Chitta, that without lust, without desire. So Chitta with lust, without lust, with dosa, hatred, without dosa, with moha, delusion, and without moha, and so on. Okay? And then finally, he went on to Dhammanupassana and showed how Dhammanupassana, the instruction on Dhammanupassana, can be carried out in 5 ways by means of contemplating the 5 hindrances, 5 aggregates, 6 sense bases, the 7 factors of enlightenment, and the 4 noble truths. Okay? So then, having expounded in details all the 4 satipatthana exercises, finally the Buddha gave the assurance that for anyone who practices satipatthana diligently as instructed in this sutta, they are assured to attain either arahantship or at least a state of an anagami. Okay? And they can attain this arahantship or the state of anagami after practicing any period of time between 7 days and 7 years. Yeah. So, how long have you all been practicing? Yeah. So 7 days to 7 years, you are supposed to attain these stages. But it depends, how long is it? Don't ask. It depends on many things. Depends on the keenness of your wisdom faculty, depends on effort, depends on your paramis, and so on. Yeah, don't go and ask your teacher, when am I going to attain? Yeah, he cannot tell you. You see, even the Buddha don't always tell you. Buddha can only tell you when he is very sure. Yeah, you find in the text, sometimes you find the Buddha giving prediction. This person, I know, in 7 days' time he is going to attain arahantship. This one, today itself, we're going to attain arahantship. He knows, right? But these are only in cases where he's very sure. When the conditions are such that it is inevitable, so nothing can stop it. So that means it's sure to happen. Then only the Buddha predict. In most cases, the Buddha do not predict. That's because conditions are always changing, depending on what you are doing now, depending on the circumstances outside, depending on so many things. Conditions are always changing. So if the conditions are not sure, you're going to make a prediction that it didn't come true. Then people will blame the Buddha. So the Buddha only make prediction when he is very sure. There are cases where the conditions is such, especially the karma of the person, his paramis, is due to ripen already. So it cannot be stopped. Nothing can stop it. So in those cases, then only the Buddha make prediction. Then he knows this person when he's going to attain enlightenment and so on. Sometimes he also predict this person in 7 days is going to die. So yes, it happens. But the Buddha knows that if you follow this Satipatthana practice diligently, and means really follow it, not practice as you like, and then you don't like, you go back home, go and run errands. So it means 7 years means practice continuously, non-stop. So 7 days also means continuously. Okay? Of course, except the time when you have to rest. Which in the Buddha's time, they only rest for the middle watch of the night. That means only about 4 hours. So the rest of the time they spend meditating. So that's what they mean, 7 days. That's the quality of the practice in the Buddha's time. So, and actually according to the commentary, this is for 7 days to 7 years are for people whose wisdom are, mediocre, not that keen, not that dull, so it's mediocre. As in another sutta, Buddha mentioned that some people whose wisdom faculties very keen, you give them the instruction in the morning, in the evening they attain. Some you give them instruction in the evening, they practice continuously, in the morning they attain. There's a very keen wisdom. Okay? The 7 days to 7 years are not that keen. So, and then finally, the Buddha concluded the sutta by reasserting again the benefits of Satipatthana, that it is the only way for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, and so on. Okay? Yes. Yeah, so if you are there, imagine if you were there at that time when the Buddha delivered this Satipatthana Sutta, especially in the beginning when he says, this is the only way for the realization of Nibbana. When you hear that, immediately your body will straighten up, your ears will open, your eyes will open. He is going to talk about the only way for the realization of Nibbana. Surely you pay very careful attention to his every words. And then at the end, he assured you, if you practice like this within 7 days to 7 years now, you will sure attain arahantship. So if you are a person with faith, you will definitely put in all the effort into the practice. Right? Okay, so tonight we'll begin discussing about the Niddesa with the detailed exposition of this Satipatthana instruction. So the Niddesa section begins with Kayanupassana, contemplation of the body. So the first Kammatthana, the first subject of meditation, the first exercise in Kayanupassana, contemplation of the body, is Anapana. And so you have this Anapana Pabba, the section on Anapana. So Anapana means in breath, out breath. Right? So Yeah. And this is probably the most popular subject of meditation among Buddhists, besides metta. So, unless you come straight into Mahasi method of practice, where we teach you to contemplate rising, falling. If you start off with any other tradition, most probably you will learn anapana, how to contemplate the in-out breath, or some form of anapana. Okay. And so, for example, in the Goenkaji tradition, so the first few days they begin with anapana before they switch over to vipassana. So in the Ajahn Chah's tradition, generally in the forest tradition of northeast Thailand, so they do the Buddho. That one is also some kind of anapana. Okay. So they begin with the breath. Okay. Yeah. So most likely, if you don't come straight into Mahasi, you will learn anapana or metta meditation. Okay. So anapana is quite a popular subject of meditation among Buddhists. Now, anapana is connected with the breath, right? So, and rising, falling, right? We teach rising, falling. Rising, falling also connected with the breath, right? So, when you breathe in, the abdomen rises, and you breathe out, it falls, right? So, it's connected with the breathing. Right? Yeah. But we need to emphasize here that contemplation, rising, falling, and anapana is not the same. Okay, rising, falling is not anapana. Anapana is not rising, falling. Okay? So rising, falling is not a kind of anapana. Many people mistake this. So you see, anapana means contemplation of the breath going in and out at the tip of the nostril. Right? So when you do anapanasati, you're supposed to bring your mindfulness attention to the breath as it occurs at the tip of the nostril. Okay? So, and if you practice anapana, take it as a vipassana object. So anapana, actually you can practice it as a samatha object or a vipassana object. Okay? So if you take it as a samatha object, then you simply be aware in, out, in, out. Okay? The breath goes in, you know, in, breath comes out, you know, out. Okay? So you don't pay attention to anything else other than the fact that there's in is out, is in is out. Okay, so it's kind of concept of direction. Okay, so but if you take it as a vipassana object, then it's more of the wind element as it occurs at the tip of the nostril. So as you breathe in, you breathe out. So often you feel like some very light pressure at the tip of the nostril. So that is the wind element. Okay? Yeah. Primarily wind element, but often other elements also. So like when you breathe in, sometimes you feel cool, it's coolness at the tip of the nostril. When you breathe out, you feel the warmth at the tip of the nostril. Sometimes you feel the softness. Heat and cold, warmness, coldness, that is the the fire element, right? Tejo dhatu. Then sometimes you feel like softness or roughness or smoothness. So that is the earth element. Okay? So if you take it as a vipassana object, then you contemplate on the nature of the elements occurring at the tip of the nostril. And then when it's clear, you can even discern the arising and disappearing. It's very difficult because it's very, very subtle. So, and so anapana is actually contemplating the wind element at the tip of the nostril. Okay, whereas rising, falling, you're contemplating the what we call wind element in the belly, inside the belly. Okay, so this comes under Dhatu Manasikara, contemplation of the elements. Okay, so it's not the same. So anapana is not rising, falling. Rising, falling is not anapana. But even though they are different, but because rising, falling is also connected with in and out breath. So some of the principles of anapanasati may also apply when you contemplate rising, falling, like the long breath, short breath. So sometimes your rising is very long or very short. So also the falling, so it's applicable also. Okay? Experiencing the entire breath. So you make effort to experience the rising or the falling movement from beginning to the end. So calming the breath body. So when you contemplate rising, falling also, after a while it also starts to become more and more, calm. In the beginning, rising, falling is very rough. But as you meditate, as samadhi develops more and more, as the mind calms down, the rising, falling also becomes more and more calm. So it's so the same principle of anapana can be applicable also to rising, falling. But it is not. Rising, falling is not anapana. Okay? It is not a variety, a form of anapana. Okay. Because some people say, why Mahasi Sayadaw change anapana to rising, falling? He didn't change. Rising, falling is a totally different subject of meditation. It comes more under the contemplation of the elements. Okay? And it can also be considered as one of the minor posture of the body. So there are the forming posture, and then there are also the minor posture. Okay? We'll come to that under the section on posture, Iriyapata. Okay, so to begin the section on anapana, so Buddha asks, Katanchapana bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kaya nupasi viharati. So, and how bhikkhus, there's a bhikkhu dwells contemplating body in the body. So in the Uddesa, in the synopsis, Buddha gave the basic instruction of Kayanupasana. He says the bhikkhu dwells contemplating body in the body, ardent, clearly comprehending, and so on. But this is just a brief instruction, right? He didn't give any details then. So now, in order to explain in more detail, so the Buddha asked this question: how does a bhikkhu dwell, contemplating body in the body? And so he asked this question in order to begin a detailed exposition on Kaya Nupassana. It's not that he asked this question expecting a reply, an answer. So he asked in order to begin the exposition, on the Kaya Nupassana. So how does one dwell? How does the bhikkhu or the yogi dwell, contemplating body in the body? How does the yogi or the bhikkhu carry out the contemplation of the body? So the Buddha says, Iddha bhikkhave bhikkhu aranyagato wa rukamula gato wa sunyagara gato wa nisiti palangka abhojitwa ujungkaya panidaya parimuka sati upadapetwa. So aranyagato wa rukamula gato wa sunyagara gato wa. So Iddha bhikkhave. So here bhikkhus, a bhikkhu gone to the forest, aranyagato, gone to the forest, rukamulagato, or gone under the shade of a tree, sunyagaragato, gone to an empty place. So in order to practice anapana, especially you practice it as a samatha subject of meditation. Actually, in order to practice any meditation, you need a suitable place to practice, especially if you are doing intensive retreat. You need a suitable place to carry out your retreat. So, of course, you meditate at home, only one sitting, two sitting, that one, no problem. You just find a quiet corner in your house and meditate. But if you want to do a retreat, a continuous, intensive retreats for days or weeks or months, some people even years. So you need a suitable place. A place that is quiet, that is free from any disturbances, distraction, human activities. So freed from any objects that are pleasant or unpleasant, that can cause the mind to obsess over this object with covetousness or grief. Pleasant object, or then you start to obsess over it with attachment, with desire, covetousness. Unpleasant object, you obsess over it with aversion, with ill will. All this will disturb the mind. Okay? So you need a safe place to meditate. A place where you can meditate continuously, you can feel safe. So free from danger also. This is also important. Okay? So yeah, but especially freed from distraction, disturbances, human activities, objects. Okay, this is very important. Yeah, for samatha is even more important. So for vipassana, we can still tolerate some objects as long as the yogi note continuously. So if some noise, so you note, so you take it as an object of meditation. Okay? Yeah, actually noise, you just change your attitude towards it. It is an object. You are supposed to note it. Right? If you take it as an object, you note it, then your meditation does not suffer because you are noting, right? As long as you are noting, then meditation still goes on. You are still developing your practice, right? So for vipassana, you can still tolerate some noise, disturbances, but samatha, more difficult. So a little bit of noise, you can destroy your samadhi, especially in the beginning when you have not mastered the jhana yet. So so you need a place where whatever samadhi you develop can be protected. Yeah, so you need such a place. So for a long time, especially for a lay yogi who living in a household life, so your mind is used to having whatever object it wants to, right? So you want to eat, you go and eat. Whatever food you want to eat, you can find and you can eat it, right? Whatever show you want to watch, you turn on the TV, or nowadays you turn on the internet streaming, video on demand, music on demand. So it's so convenient, right? Whatever you want, you can have it anytime. So the mind is so used to this. Okay? So, so you live your life surrounded by all these sensual objects, right? So your home is like a forest of sensual objects. So these sensual objects, you see, throughout the day, not only at home, especially when you go out, you go shopping, more and more objects, right? So shopping is not easy nowadays. You go to the supermarket, first of all you must decide what brand, and then after that you must read the label, then you must read the expiry date. Before that you must also do research. What do you want? So complicated. Yeah, when we were young, when your mother or grandmother wants some vegetable, you say, here, 10 cents, go to the market, buy this, and come back, there, vegetable. No research done. Things was much simpler in those days. So all these objects and all this distraction, so it kicks up all the dust of the mental defilements. Right? So throughout the day, you're bombarded by so many different objects. So the mind is continuously obsessed with covetousness, with grief, pleasant object, unpleasant object. So and then dull objects give rise to delusion. So all this dust of defilements being kicked up in your mind, unsettled, and at the end of the day, you are so exhausted, right? So there's no wonder you're so exhausted at the end of the day, and your mind is so dull. So at the end of the day, after being bombarded by all these objects, after all these defilements have been stirred up, end of the day you want to meditate, you go and meditate. How difficult it is, right? So the mind is not clear, it's not settled. So it's very difficult to meditate while you remain at home. So, unless you are a very determined person, you have a very strong discipline, and you can set up the environment at home. Best is if you stay alone. Stay alone also, a neighbor turn on the TV loud. How? So, so unless you have strong determination, strong discipline, you have the right environment, suitable, conducive environment. It's very difficult. Too much temptation at home. The fridge is just nearby. TV is just there. The very comfortable sofa is just there. You just want to sit down, lie down on it instead of sitting here cross-legged on the floor. So internet is just there, turn on, and then you got the whole world at your fingertips. Just type in whatever you want. The temptation is too strong, right? And even if really you have very, very good discipline and determination, you can overcome all this temptation. But still, you are easily accessible to others at home. Others will come and disturb you, right? So you turn off your handphone. After a while, they come and knock at your door. Hey, why you turn off your handphone? So I have one yogi who meditate at home. At first, it was going very smooth. Everything was good. Meditation was good. And then something happened at home. Problem arises. And then they all come and look for him. Hey, you are the elder. You solve this problem for us. Then become distracted. So he has to, somehow he got pulled into their problems. I have to solve it for them. And then after that, it took him so many days before he come back to the previous state. So, so it's not easy to meditate at home. You need a suitable place where you are protected from all these disturbances, all this distraction, where you can be really safe as a yogi. You know nobody will come and disturb you. And everything is there for you, all the support and so on. Okay? It's just like when you're taming a wild elephant. You want to tame a wild elephant. Can you tame the wild elephant in a forest? Elephant in a forest, they will feel very wild. With everything reminding them of their wildness. Their wild habits is there. Everywhere they look around, it triggers their wild habit. Right? So you cannot tame the wild elephant while it is in the forest. You want to tame it first, you must bring the elephant out of the forest into open space, into where humans live. So how do you bring a wild elephant out from the forest? So they said that you have to tie the wild elephant to another elephant, tame elephant. The tame elephant will lead them up. So after they become kawan, then you will lead the wild elephant out of the forest. Okay. So, but even after you have led the wild elephant out of the forest, he still remember the forest, right? He wants to run back to the forest. Again and again, he wants to run back. So as long as he still remember the forest, he still remember the habit of the forest, its wild habit, this elephant is useless to you. So the elephant tamer knows that in order to train this elephant to do useful things like carry load and so on, first he must make the elephant forget about the forest, forget about all his wild habits. So how do the elephant tamer do this? So he drive a very strong pole into the earth. And then he tie the elephant to this very firm pole with a very strong rope. So then every time the elephant wants to run back to the forest, he get restrained by the rope. Tied to the pole, he get restrained. So again and again he tried to run back. Again and again he got restrained. So after a while, he got fed up, and then he gave up hope. He knows he cannot escape anymore. So he gave up. He began to settle down, and he began to get used to his present environment. So become comfortable in the present environment among human beings, tied to the pole. So no longer wants to run back into the forest. So once the elephant come to this stage, then the elephant tamer knows, now I can train this elephant to do useful things. Right? Yeah. So the same with our mind. So our mind, which have so used to moving about in the forest of sensual objects. So our minds have these wild habits of running wild, running loose, without restraint among all these sensual objects. Right? So you want to train this mind. Now you want to train this mind. Means you want to meditate. Right? So you cannot remain at home. You must bring this wild elephant of your mind out of this forest of sensual objects. Into a suitable place to meditate. Nowadays, of course, it's the meditation center. So how do you bring, what drives you to the meditation center? So what brings you to the meditation center is faith, saddha. Saddha is the tame elephant. So because of saddha, you come. Those without saddha, you tell them about meditation, you say, you crazy, you go meditation. You sit, walk, sit until my body pain, walk until my leg pain. The mosquito here, bite there. So no dinner. How can no dinner? Sleep so little. No TV, no internet, nothing. You crazy, you go meditate yourself. No saddha. So he remained in the forest. But those with saddha, then this saddha will lead you to meditation center, to meditate. Okay? Yeah. So, but even after coming to the meditation center, the mind immediately settle into samadhi. No, right? It's still think about the home, right? All the objects that you left behind. I miss my home. I miss my family. I miss my TV show. I miss my favorite food. So this wild elephant wants to run back. So you must make it forget about the forest. How? So you need a strong pole and you need a strong rope to tie your wild elephant mind. So what is the strong pole? The strong pole is your object of meditation. So rising, falling, sitting, touching. So in this case, it's anapana, the breath, in, out breath. You tie the mind to the in, out breath. Tie it with what? What is the rope? The rope is mindfulness. So with very strong mindfulness, like a strong rope, you tie the mind, hold it to the subject of meditation, to the in-out breath, or the rising, falling, or whatever your primary object is. Tie it there. Every time the mind wants to run back, wanders away to the forest, you note it with mindfulness. So the mindfulness will restrain it. You note wandering, or desire, restrain it, disappear, you bring it back to the pole, to your primary object. So again and again, it runs back again and again, you restrain and you hold it back. Bring it back to the primary object. So you do this again and again and again. After a while, samadhi develops. Once samadhi develops, the mind settles down. It becomes comfortable with meditation. So it even starts to enjoy meditation. Then it no longer think about its forest anymore. It no longer wants to run back to the forest. Now he has something better. Right? The happiness that comes from samadhi is so much better than the happiness that comes from enjoying sensual pleasure, because there's no restlessness in this happiness of samadhi. Right? The mind is calm, is tranquil, is peaceful. When you enjoy sensual pleasure, yes, you are very happy, there's joy, piti, sukha, but that comes with restlessness. Right? And then it comes with frustration also when the object is lost. But this happiness, this joy is so much better. So now the mind settles down into the work of meditation. So when it can settle down and become comfortable, happy, doing the practice, now you can train it to do useful things, like developing insight. So before you begin your meditation retreat, you must find a suitable place. You must go there. So therefore, in the instruction, the Buddha began by showing where one should go in order to be able to meditate properly, suitable places that the yogi can go in order to practice meditation. So he says, Ida bhikkhave, bhikkhu aranyagato, and so on. So here, bhikkhus, here means here, Ida, here, means here in this sasana. Here in this teaching. So in the case of the Buddha, he is saying, in my teaching, in my sasana. So here in my sasana. So not in any other sasana, not in any other teaching, only in this sasana. So this method of satipatthana, contemplation of the body and so on, only taught completely in all its respect, only in this sasana. So only here in this sasana you can find bhikkhus or yogis who are developing satipatthana properly, completely, in all its respect. Okay? So here in this sasana, so a bhikkhu, so aranyagato, a bhikkhu has gone to the forest. So a forest is a suitable place for meditation. But not just any kind of forest. Many of the forests that we have today is not suitable for meditation. Okay? It must be a forest in which you can enjoy physical seclusion from human activities, where you can meditate in peace without any distraction, especially from sensual objects. Okay? So in the Buddha's time, such places, such forests are easy to find. In the Buddha's time in India, forests are easy to find. Okay, so because those days human beings are only beginning to settle down into cities, so the cities also are not that big. So if we today we look at the city, we probably won't think of it as a city. So it's still very easy in those days to find forests. So in the text, it is said that they give definition of forest. One of the definitions says that you see in the entrance of the city, they have this what they call Indakila. It's a very firm post, very huge but firm post. Half of the post is buried underneath the earth. The other half is above the earth. So it's very firm. And that post is like the marker, the entrance into the city. It marks the entrance into the city. So one of the definition of forest is that beyond that post, all is forest. So it's so easy to find forest in those days. So that means like Jetavana. Jetavana can be considered like a forest monastery because it is outside the city of Savatthi, right? So it's beyond that post. So beyond that post, everything is forest. It's so easy to find. Nowadays, you go beyond city, it's another city. So, or another town, smaller town. So, yeah. In the Vinaya also, there's another definition. It says, this one in terms of village, it says 3,000 feet from the village, forest. Yeah, but nowadays you need to go much further than 3,000 feet in order to find a really quiet forest where you can that is a suitable place for meditation. So yeah, it's not so easy to find. So not so easy to find suitable forest to meditate anymore these days. Okay? So forest is not the forest that the Buddha means is not just simply a place that's covered with trees and underbrush. So you see, like Santi Sukarama, yes, we have a lot of trees, right? We have some underbrush also. So we have also mosquitoes. So yeah, and it feels like a forest, right? When you go and walk around it, many of our trees are so tall. So you walk around it, you really feel like you're in a forest. Okay, but there are noises from the neighbors, right? There's a motor shop just nearby. Sometimes you can hear the sound from their machines. Then the neighbor beside it, the new neighbor, they just cleared the land. They just recently bought the land. Now they are building a new house there. So a lot of work going on. You can hear the sound, not only the sound, the noise from the construction, but the workers, they are playing the music so loud. So sometimes in the morning when I go and walk behind in the forest, I can literally hear the music as if it's just beside me. They play it so loud, right? And then at the back here, the palm oil estate nowadays also a lot of activities. So on many days you can hear the noise from the tractors and other machines, bulldozers working almost throughout the day. So it's not quiet. Well, but quiet enough for vipassana. So even then also sometimes quite noisy also. So for beginners, yogis, You may have some difficulty. So, but if you are already experienced, you can handle. You can note the sound, or if your mindfulness is so strong, you can even filter it out, and then just hold your attention on the rising, falling. It can be done. So, yeah. Yeah, so it's not easy to find suitable forests. The best forest that I've lived in, I think you have heard this before. Brother Dasana has mentioned it. I think Gavesi also has mentioned it. Brother Visu has also mentioned it. Where we all used to stay in Penang, that the mountain hill hermitage. You can't say mountain. It's right. It's a piece of land. One of our Dayaka has a piece of land right in the center of the island of Penang. Yeah, very nice place, surrounded by forest reserve. And he built a few kutis there for us to stay. That is really secluded from civilization. Brother Dasana used to say, it's like living there is like Robinson Crusoe. Really, it is like that. Yeah, and it's a very suitable place to meditate, provided you can take the harsh environment as well as the seclusion. So, but otherwise, very suitable to meditate. You must be able to stand the environment. So, for me, I usually try to go when there's no other monks there. So, because sometimes when there's monks, and sometimes they come and visit you in your kuti. So disturbances. So I try to find a time when they are not there. I quickly go and meditate. Sometimes when they go to Burma, I run up there and spend a few months there. Meditate on my own. So when there's no other monks at night, the whole hill, the other kutis, no other monks. The whole hill, you are alone. I used to say, I'm the king of this hill tonight. So, and it's very, very quiet. The forest can be very quiet at night. Of course, and about 6, 7 o'clock that time, a lot of insects also. After a certain time, it's quiet down. It's very peaceful, very quiet. But you must be able to take the seclusion. And if you are a person afraid of ghosts, or you're afraid of animals, so you hear a little bit sound, what is that? And then you find it very difficult to stay there. Because, and the kuti also, is not a professionally built kuti. Our Dayaka basically built it himself. And he has no experience whatsoever in building a kuti. So he simply buys some material, he just put it out and then that is your kuti. It's livable, but it's, you have to make do with a lot of things. Sometimes the wall is like sengek, and no mosquito netting. Okay? So except for the umbrella net that we use. So monks, we have the umbrella and then we put a mosquito net on top. So we use that for sitting meditation. But when walking meditation, we have to put repellent, mosquito repellent, apply thick. Otherwise, a mosquito will come. So, and because it's so exposed, you see, you have no proper windows to close. So it's so exposed, snakes can come in. So, and the snakes will come in because on the ceiling, on the roof there are rats. Mouse. So at night when you meditate, you hear the rats. Sometimes they're running around, chased by snakes. So once I was In the middle of the night, you're sitting there, and then suddenly I heard very loud shrieking sound of the rat. And so when I opened my eyes, I look up, I shine the torchlight out. I saw the body of the snake on one of the rafters. The body of the snake coiling around the rat he has caught. So the rat was shouting. So there you have to do the, kanda parita, there's the protection against, especially the snakes, but also other creatures. So you must be able to take such environment. King cobras there, yes. When you are sleeping at night, they can be around you, crawling around. That's why when we wake up in the morning, first thing, turn on the torchlight, look around. No electricity, torchlight. Then you need to go and light either the candle or the kerosene lamp. Later on, we have they supply us with a car battery for some fluorescent lamp, very dim. So, and the weather also will be very, very cold because it's high up in the hill. Sometimes you sit there, you see the mist, the cloud blowing into your kuti. And certain time of the year, the wind can be very, very strong. In Penang, the end of the year especially, the monsoon wind, especially up in the hill, it can be so strong that even the trees can fall. So you live with that kind of condition. So all for the sake of meditation, for the seclusion of that place. Yes, it's very nice to meditate, but you have to put up with that. So nowadays, you seldom go there anymore because as we get older, it's very difficult for the body to take that type of environment anymore. So when we are young, also myself also, I was not very strong. But when we are young, we have this spirit, and this virya. Doesn't matter, die. Yeah, when we go up there, we have to prepare to die also. Yeah, because King Cobra, if it bite you, nobody to bring you down. Even if somebody there to bring you down, you won't be on time. So we used to say, if you get bitten by a snake, just go and meditate. Yeah, nothing you can do anymore. So nowadays we are all already, the body getting weaker and weaker. We cannot take such environment anymore. And so now we come to a milder environment, like Santi Sukarama. Yeah. So if you can find a place like this, then it's a suitable place to meditate. You can pursue your meditation to your heart's content. So the forest is such a place. And then so Aranya Gatowa and Rukamula Gatowa. So Rukamula, literally, if you translate this literally, it means root of a tree. Ruka means a tree. Mula is a root. So gone to the root of the tree. So that's the literal translation. But if you translate it according to the meaning, what it means is under the shade of a tree. Right? So it's not necessary that you go and sit on the root of the tree. Some of this tree, they have the roots jutting out above the earth. Right? You go and sit there, it does not mean that. You also don't have to sit right at the trunk of the tree. You see the picture, the drawings of the Buddha sitting underneath the tree, sit close to the trunk of the tree, right? Just beside the trunk of the tree. Doesn't mean that. Rukamula means under the shade of the tree. So anywhere under the shade of the tree, not near to the trunk. In fact, actually, you should not sit near to the trunk, because the trunk is where sometimes the insects are crawling up and down. You sit there, you also crawl all over you. So you should sit away from it. So according to the commentaries, they explain it this way. There are two explanations. Actually, both of them mean the same thing. Okay? So the first explanation, they said, in the afternoon, when the sun is at the highest point, so the shadow of the tree, so underneath the shadow, the place where the shadow of the tree fell, that place is called Rukamula. So root of the tree means that place that's covered by the shade of the tree. Anywhere under it, not necessarily close to the trunk, on the root. So it can be far away as long as you are still underneath the shade of the tree. Okay? So another explanation is that actually it means the same thing. It says that when the wind is not blowing and the leaves fall, right? So that means they'll fall straight down, right? Because the wind are not blowing. So the place where the leaves fall, that is Rukamula. Okay? So it means the same. It's under the shade of the tree. Okay. Yeah. But again, it's not just any tree. So it must be a tree in a quiet place, freed from distraction, freed from human activities. So, for example, a tree in the middle of a busy park. It's not people are coming and going. It's not suitable. So when I was in Indonesia, they brought me to the botanical garden near the center. There I saw this very huge tree and very shady. I said, if not because of all these people, this will be a very suitable tree to meditate under. So, but there you can meditate under there. People come and go. Couples will come and do their activities right beside you. How can you meditate like this? Right? So a tree in the middle of a quiet forest where nobody goes is very suitable. Okay. Last time in Penang, we used to go to, Bante Prahos is old place in the White Cloud Mountain. Those days I was very, very young, still going to school at that time, still studying. So behind the center there is like a forest path. So there's a clear forest path. So Bante Praho used to build some meditation seats there, where you can go and sit there and meditate underneath the shade of the trees. So we go there, we burn a little bit of leaves to smoke out the place, and then really no mosquitoes after you smoke. Then you can sit there, no mosquito net required. It's very cool. So a very nice place to meditate. So, yeah. But you want to meditate under the shade of the tree, you have to make sure it's not fruiting season. Fruiting season, or the fruits come, the birds also come. They make a lot of noise. Like in Bodhiarama, Kuala Kubu Baru, a certain time of the year when all the Eugenia trees beside the Sima Hall, when it fruits, there's one type of bird, they come. I don't know what is the name of the bird, but they come in flocks of them. In the afternoon, you meditate there, they'll be singing there beside you, entertaining you. So very, very noisy. So that's why meditation center, when you want to plant trees, make sure you don't plant fruit trees. Fruit trees will attract all these birds, animals, and when they come, they make noise. On top of that, when the fruit rot, then all this, this tiny insect, they call the sandfly, will come. So also not suitable. So choose maybe forest trees. Very suitable. Also choose forest trees. Also sometimes they fruit. So you have to find the trees that don't fruit so much, or fruit seasonally. So plant different kinds of trees. Don't plant all the same trees. Like in Bodhiyarama, you plant all Eugenia trees. Then they fruit at the same time. So much fruit. So of course attract all the big flocks of birds there. So you plant different kinds of tree. They fruit in different time of the year, so they don't attract so many birds to come at the same time. All these things only meditator will observe. Other people will got time to observe when the birds come, when the tree fruits, and so on. That's why you want to build meditation center. You must ask yogi for advice. You don't go and ask people who don't meditate, go and build a meditation center. Sure, it will not be suitable for meditation in the end. So the last place that the Buddha mentioned is Sunyagara. Sunyagara Gato, gone to an empty place. Empty place means empty of human activities, empty of any destructive activities on objects, where you can meditate in peace and without any disturbances. Okay? So empty place. So in this spirit also, when you come and meditate, you must not bring too many things with you from home. So don't come with a lorry load of things. Nowadays, yogis bring so many things to the meditation center. You see around their seats, the water container, cups, medicine, alarm clock, so many different kind of things. So sometimes they have different type of cushion. Morning this cushion, afternoon this cushion. So you must simplify when you come to meditate. Because you have so many things, you bring so many things with you, then it becomes a burden. You have to care for them. So, and with more things also, your life becomes more complicated. At this time, I must use this. At that time, I must use that. So, just be simple, so that you can focus all your attention on your meditation. Also, more importantly, the mind must be empty. You come with a mind full of things, also cannot meditate. All this obsession in the mind over this and that. So the mind must also be empty, which is why the first thing you do is develop samadhi, empty the mind, so that the mind settle into meditation. So places that are considered empty, that are described in the suttas, so places like a hillside, side of the hill, and then a gully, that means where there is indentation in the earth, or where there is like erosion, where water has cut away some parts of the stones and so on. There is like a space in between that you can go inside and hide away and meditate in peace. When I was in Sri Lanka, they have this. In Sri Lanka, there's in the hills, there's a lot of what they call the overhanging rock. So at the side of the slope of the hill, there's a rock, and the rock is like overhanging, it tilts a little bit. Okay? And then you can go underneath it, and you are protected from rain and so on. And then you can meditate under it. So what the monks did, and this is actually from ancient times, the monks have been doing this in Sri Lanka. So what they do is that they go underneath it and meditate. So over time, if they settle down there, they find it a suitable place to meditate, they will take planks and then they plank up the place. And then it becomes like their kuti. They live underneath it. So yeah, when I was there, I spent a few nights living in such a, they call it cave. It's actually an overhanging rock. Yeah, one of the monastery that I visit is a very old forest monastery. In one of these overhanging rock, there is an inscription in the Brahmi script. Brahmi script are the script that I used during Emperor Asoka's time. So they said that forest monastery was set up by Venerable Mahinda, Emperor Asoka's son, who brought the Dhamma down to Sri Lanka. Yeah, so the ancient inscription is still there on top of the overhanging rock. Yeah, so it's been so long already, this tradition in Sri Lanka. Yeah, so gully, a mountain cave, a charnel ground, cemetery. Yeah, cemetery is a very peaceful place to go and meditate. Yeah, I like to take walks in cemetery. Often I go for my exercise, walking in cemetery, especially in evening time or early morning. It's very quiet, very peaceful. So, and there often when I walk around, I can find many places that are suitable to meditate. But you need to bring a mosquito tent. So, yeah. So charnel ground. But don't go during the Qingming. A lot of people at that time. So then jungle ticket, open space. So sometimes in the middle of the forest there's an open space and nobody goes there. So it's very suitable. A heap of straw. Like Buddha, when he attained enlightenment, he was sitting on a heap of straw. Right? So a heap of straw is totally empty, nothing. The Buddha at that time don't even have an alms bowl. His alms bowl was offered to him after he attained enlightenment by the 4 guardian devas. So a heap of straw. So what it means is all these are places that are empty without distraction from any objects or human activities. Okay? Yeah. So, but nowadays, of course, you ask yogis, they go forest, go to underneath the tree, go to an empty place in the cemetery, to a hill, to a cave. Nobody will go. Very few yogis. Some will still go. So, but city folks mostly won't go. Right? So that's why we have meditation center. Especially after Mahasi Sayadaw started teaching. It was like a mass movement in Burma at that time. So lay people coming to meditate. Before that, the meditation was the domain of monks, right? So now suddenly masses of lay people coming to meditate, and these are mostly city folks. So they don't go to forest, they don't go to cemetery, they go to meditation center. So, so they set up suitable meditation center where it's quiet, it's peaceful, conducive, for the practice of meditation. Nobody will disturb you. All the facilities are there. Food are available. There are people to cook the food for you, and so on. So all you need to do is meditate and nothing else. You don't need to do anything else except meditate. So you can meditate continuously without any distraction. So such a place is also suitable. So that's why people who run meditation center must understand the needs of the yogi. So that's why only the most suitable person to run a meditation center are yogis. Yogis understand what yogis need. So they can set up the meditation center cut to the needs of the yogi, so that there will be no distraction for the yogi. Yes. Okay, we stop here tonight. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Buddham Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Dhammam Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Sangham Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Mata Pitunam Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Acariyanam Pujemi. Adha Imaya Patipadaya Jaram Ranamha Parimocesami. Idame Punyam Asawakaya Waham Hodu. Idame Punyam Nibbanasa Pajayo Hodu. Idame Silam Magabhalanyanasa Pajayo Hodu. Imam no Punya Bhagam Sabbasatanam Dema. Imam no Punya Bhagam Sabbasatanam Dema. Imam no Punya Bhagam Sabbasatanam Dema. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So may all of you be well, happy and peaceful always. May all of you be safe, be healthy, be strong. So may you all be able to practice the Dhamma continuously without any obstacles, without any hindrances, without any trouble. May your practice be smooth, and may you all soon be able to experience the unconditioned peace of Nibbana through the practice of Dhamma.